Welcome to the enchanting world of Lila and the Grumblegrove Giant, where adventure and mystery await. Join Lila as she embarks on a journey filled with courage and unexpected friendships. All stories by Perry Ross include morals and values for character development through listening and reading. If you would like to read the story while listening and watching, then turn on the subtitles. No part of this publication may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, including photocopying, recording, or other electronic or mechanical methods without the prior written permission of the publisher, except in the case of brief quotations embodied in critical reviews and certain other non-commercial uses permitted by copyright law. In the cheerful village of Tinkerhaven, Lila Bright tied her yellow ribbon carefully. She paused to listen to the distant grumbles rolling from Grumblegrove's misty edge. Granny Maple, wearing her plum dress, shook her head and warned that a mean giant might be hiding there. Finn Whistlewood adjusted his green cap and said the strange sounds gave him chills. The three of them stood in the morning light, the cobblestones warm beneath their feet. Lila's eyes sparkled with curiosity, even as the grumbles echoed again, carrying a mystery toward the village. "What if the giant isn't mean, Granny Maple?" said Lila. "Those grumbles sound sad to me." "I don't know, Lila," said Granny Maple, "but be careful if you go near there." "Yeah, Lila, those sounds scare me," said Finn. "I get chills just hearing them." The morning sun lit the cobblestone streets, and villagers moved quickly, whispering about the forest. Lila tilted her head, listening closely to the far-off rumble. To her, it sounded more like long sighs than angry growls. She wondered if someone might be lonely deep inside Grumblegrove. Around them, the market stalls swayed gently in the breeze as another low sound drifted from the forest. "Maybe he's just lonely, Finn," said Lila, her voice soft but sure. Finn gave her a puzzled look, not ready to believe such a thing. "Lonely? It sounds scary to me, Lila," said Finn. "What if it's a monster?" "I think we should find out, Finn," said Lila. "It might not be what everyone thinks." Granny Maple stepped toward Lila with a warm smile and a basket filled with friendship muffins. The sweet smell of berries and sugar rose from the cloth-covered treats. "Kindness is a strong lantern in dark woods," she said, placing the basket in Lila's hands. Lila hugged her granny tightly and promised to be careful on her journey. The grumbles still rolled faintly from Grumblegrove, but Lila's heart felt steady. She knew the muffins were not just food. They were a message of goodwill meant for whoever waited in the mist. "Thank you for the muffins, Granny Maple," said Lila. "I'll use them to make a friend." "You're brave, Lila," said Granny Maple. "Remember to be kind and careful." "I will, Granny Maple," said Lila. "These smell so yummy, they'll help." Finn Whistlewood walked beside Lila until they reached the tall wooden village gates. Beyond them, the misty trail curled into the shadowy forest. Finn stopped suddenly, his voice shaky as he said, "I'll watch from here." Lila smiled at him, her yellow ribbon catching the sunlight. She stepped forward alone, the basket swinging gently at her side. The air grew cooler as she crossed into the edge of Grumblegrove, where the trees seemed to whisper secrets. "Okay, Finn, I'll be back soon," said Lila. "Wish me luck." "Be safe, Lila," said Finn. "I'll wait right here." The faint rumble returned, deeper now, pulling her farther down the trail. The forest smelled of pine and damp earth, and shadows danced under the towering trees. Lila's shoes crunched softly on fallen needles as she walked. A low rumble rolled through the air, making the leaves tremble above her head. She tightened her grip on the basket, feeling the warmth of the muffins against her palm. The mist curled around her ankles, cool and thin. She stopped and whispered, "Hello?" The sound seemed to vanish into the trees, but the rumble answered, closer than before. Is anyone there? Said Lila. I'm Lila, and I brought something nice. The rumble echoed back softly. I'm not scared, said Lila to herself. I think you need a friend. Branches creaked overhead, and the rumble grew louder, shaking the quiet air. Lila's eyes darted between the trunks until she spotted a glint of gold. A huge golden beard shimmered between the dark trees like sunlight caught in honey. The giant stepped forward, his massive boots sinking into moss. Suddenly he tripped over a mossy log with a loud thud. Birds burst from the branches in surprise. Lila gasped, watching the enormous figure struggle to stand, his beard swaying as he found his balance again. Oh no, are you okay? Said Lila. That looked like it hurt. The giant rubbed his knee. Ow! He said in a deep voice. I'm Lila, she said. I didn't mean to startle you. Ow, said Boris Bumblebeard, rubbing his knee with a giant hand. His deep, rumbly voice rolled through the forest like distant thunder. Yet when he blinked down at Lila, his eyes were warm and kind. Lila stepped closer, holding out one of Granny Maple's muffins. The sweet scent drifted upward toward Boris's nose. He tilted his head, surprised by the offering. The tension in the air softened as he looked at her. Birds settled back into the branches, listening to the quiet that followed. Here, Boris, try this muffin, said Lila. It's for you. Thank you, Lila, said Boris. No one's ever given me something like this. It's yummy, Boris, said Lila. I hope it makes you feel better. Boris sniffed the muffin carefully, his golden beard brushing against his chest. A slow grin spread across his face. For me? He asked, his voice rumbling gently this time. Lila nodded, her ribbons swaying as she said, I thought you might like a friend. Boris blinked, clearly taken aback by her words. The mist curled around them, hiding the rest of the forest from view. He accepted the muffin, holding it delicately in his huge fingers as though it were something precious. Yes, for you, Boris, said Lila. I want to be your friend. That's so nice, Lila, said Boris. I've been alone for a long time. Let's sit and talk, Boris, said Lila. Friends do that. They sat together on a fallen tree trunk, the mist curling around their feet. Boris took small bites of the muffin, savoring the taste. He told Lila that the grumbles were just his talking practice, a way to keep his voice strong. Lila laughed, her eyes bright. The villagers think you roar, she said. Boris raised his eyebrows in surprise. The forest seemed calmer now, the rumble replaced by gentle chatter between the giant and the girl. It's not roaring, Boris, said Lila. That's funny. No, Lila, just practice, said Boris. I want to say hello nicely. I can help you, Boris, said Lila. Let's practice together. Boris Bumblebeard frowned, his golden beard shifting as he spoke. I've tried to say hello, but my voice shakes the trees, he admitted. Lila tilted her head, thinking of a way to help him. She suggested they work on softer words together, words that wouldn't frighten the birds or make the leaves tremble. Boris nodded slowly, his large hands resting on his knees. The idea seemed to light a spark in his eyes, even in the misty shadows of Grumblegrove. That's a good idea, Lila, said Boris. I want to sound friendly. Let's start with good day, Boris, said Lila. Say it softly like this. Okay, Lila, I'll try, said Boris. Good day. They began practicing, starting with the simple phrase, good day. Boris took a deep breath and tried, but his first attempt still rattled the branches overhead. Birds scattered in a flurry of wings. Lila smiled brightly, encouraging him to try again. She showed him how to speak more gently, like the wind sliding through grass. Boris listened carefully, then spoke once more. This time the leaves only shivered slightly, and a squirrel paused to watch instead of running away. That was better, Boris, said Lila. Try again. Good day, Lila, said Boris softer. Did it work? Yes, Boris, much better, said Lila. The birds didn't fly away. A sudden rustle in the undergrowth made Boris jump. He swung around quickly, bumping into the basket at his side. Muffins tumbled out, rolling across the mossy ground. Squirrels darted forward, chattering with delight as they snatched the treats. Lila giggled at the scene and bent down to help gather the crumbs. Boris apologized, his cheeks pink beneath his beard. Together they saved a few muffins, brushing off bits of moss before placing them back in the basket. Oops, sorry, Lila, said Boris. I'm so clumsy. It's okay, Boris, said Lila. Look, the squirrels are happy. Let's pick them up, Lila, said Boris. We can save some. Maybe we can show the villagers you're kind, Lila said with a hopeful smile. Boris looked doubtful, shifting on the tree trunk. He had spent so long alone in Grumblegrove that the idea felt strange. Still, he agreed to try, trusting Lila's bright confidence. They began planning a visit to Tinkerhaven, discussing how he could greet people without shaking the windows. The forest around them seemed lighter as their plan took shape, the mist curling lazily in the morning air. Let's go tomorrow, Boris, said Lila. I'll help you say hello. Okay, Lila, I'll try, said Boris, but what if they're scared? They'll see you're nice, Boris, said Lila, just like I did. The next morning, mist clung to Boris's broad shoulders as they walked toward the village gates. Lila walked beside him, the basket swinging at her side. The sun struggled to break through the fog, casting pale light on the path. Finn Whistlewood spotted them from a distance, his eyes widening in shock. He gasped loudly, his green cap nearly slipping off his head. Without waiting, he turned and dashed toward the heart of Tinkerhaven, his footsteps echoing on the cobblestones. Oh no, Lila, said Finn. A giant! Wait, Finn, he's friendly, said Lila. Don't run! But Finn kept going. Finn ran to warn Granny Maple, his words tumbling over each other. But Granny stepped outside calmly, her plum dress swaying in the breeze. She looked toward the gates where Boris's golden beard gleamed faintly through the mist. Let's hear what they have to say, Granny said firmly, her voice carrying across the square. Villagers paused their work, curiosity pulling them toward the gathering crowd. The air was thick with anticipation as Boris and Lila drew closer to the village. It's okay, Granny Maple, said Lila. Boris is my friend. I trust you, Lila, said Granny Maple. Let's see. The villagers gathered in the square, their eyes wide as Boris stepped into view. His towering figure seemed to block the sunlight for a moment. Lila stood proudly beside him, her ribbon bright against the fog. This is my friend, she announced, her voice clear and strong. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, some wary, some curious. Boris shifted his weight, careful not to step too close to the market stalls. The square felt tense, waiting for his next move. Everyone, meet Boris, said Lila. He's kind. Hello, said Boris softly. Don't be scared, said Lila. He won't hurt anyone. Boris took a breath and tried to say hello softly, just as Lila had taught him. His deep tones still made the windows rattle faintly. Children clutched their parents' hands, unsure what to think. A few villagers stepped back, while others leaned forward with interest. Lila glanced up at him, offering a reassuring smile. Boris's eyes softened, and he nodded slightly, determined to keep trying until they understood his friendly intentions. Hello, villagers, said Boris gentler. I'm Boris. That's good, Boris, said Lila. They're listening. Granny Maple stepped forward, holding a muffin in her steady hands. She offered it to Boris, who accepted with a gentle smile. Thank you, he said, this time quieter and more careful. The sound rolled warmly across the square without shaking the lanterns. Villagers exchanged glances, noticing the change in his voice. Lila's heart lifted as she watched Boris take another small bite, the golden beard catching the sunlight like a friendly banner. "Here, Boris, another muffin," said Granny Maple. "Welcome." "Thank you, Granny Maple," said Boris. "It's yummy." "You're doing great, Boris," said Lila. "See, they like you." Finn Whistlewood stepped forward, his green cap tilted nervously. "You're not mean?" he asked, his voice almost a whisper. Boris shook his head slowly, explaining how he had spent lonely days in Grumblegrove. He spoke of practicing words to greet someone, though the sound often came out too strong. The villagers listened, their expressions softening. Lila stood beside him, holding the basket of muffins as a quiet reminder of kindness. "No, Finn, I'm not mean," said Boris. "I was just lonely." "Oh, Boris, that's sad," said Finn. "I'm sorry I was scared." "It's okay, Finn," said Boris. "Now we can be friends." The villagers listened closely as Lila described the practice sessions in the forest. She explained how Boris learned to soften his voice so it wouldn't frighten birds or people. Boris demonstrated his new greeting, speaking gently enough that only the leaves trembled. A few villagers smiled at the effort. The mist above the square began to lift, letting sunlight spill across their faces. Lila felt a spark of hope that they might soon see him as she did. "We practiced a lot, everyone," said Lila. "Boris is really nice." "Good day," said Boris softly. "See, no roaring." "That's wonderful, Boris," said Granny Maple. "We're glad you're here." A brave child near the front laughed at Boris's greeting. The sound was light and warm, breaking the tension. More children began to smile, their hands relaxing in their parents' grip. The crowd's unease faded like the morning mist drifting away from the rooftops. Boris's shoulders eased and his grin widened. Lila glanced at him, knowing this was the beginning of their acceptance. The square now felt brighter, filled with cautious but growing trust. "Your hello is funny, Boris," said the child. "Thank you," said Boris. "I'm happy you like it." "See, Boris, they're not scared anymore," said Lila. Boris offered to help carry heavy barrels from the market stalls as a show of goodwill. His massive hands lifted them easily, though his clumsy steps made apples tumble across the cobblestones. Lila laughed as he caught them mid-roll with surprising speed. Villagers chuckled at the sight, some stepping forward to thank him. The air in the square grew lighter with each small act of kindness. Boris's golden beard seemed to shine even more under the midday sun. "I can help, villagers," said Boris. "These barrels are light for me." "Thank you, Boris," said a villager. "You're strong." "Watch out for the apples, Boris," said Lila, laughing. Lila and Boris spent the afternoon teaching the villagers his language of gentle rumbles. Boris made deep, friendly sounds that rolled softly like distant drums. Children tried to copy him, their voices wobbling with laughter. Even Finn joined in, his attempts drawing smiles from everyone nearby. The square echoed with playful noise instead of wary whispers. Lila felt proud watching the villagers enjoy something they had once feared. The giant's rumble had finally become part of the village's song. "Try rumbling like this, kids," said Boris. "Rumble, rumble." "Rumble, rumble, Boris," said the children. "That's fun, Boris," said Finn. "I like your rumbles now." Granny Maple baked extra friendship muffins for a celebration in the square. The warm scent drifted through the streets, inviting everyone to gather. Boris carried the trays carefully, his large hands steady. As he walked, he hummed low tunes that swayed the flowers in their pots. Lila followed beside him, her ribbon bouncing with each step. Villagers smiled as the pair passed, sensing the joy that had replaced their earlier fear. The day felt bright and welcoming. "These muffins smell great, Granny Maple," said Boris. "Thank you." "You're welcome, Boris," said Granny Maple. "Let's celebrate." "I'm excited, Boris," said Lila. "Everyone's happy." The villagers decorated the square with ribbons and lanterns, their colors bright against the stone buildings. Boris helped hang the highest lanterns, stretching his long arms toward the rooftops. His golden beard caught the light, glowing like a banner in the sky. Lila handed him each lantern, laughing as he balanced on tiptoe. The square transformed into a cheerful place, ready for the celebration. Even the mist seemed to stay back at the forest's edge. "Here's another lantern, Boris," said Lila. "You're so tall." "Thanks, Lila," said Boris. "This is fun." "It looks pretty, Boris," said Granny Maple. Music filled the square, drifting through the air like warm sunshine. Children danced around Boris's big boots, their laughter ringing out. Lila clapped along to the rhythm, her yellow ribbon swinging as she moved. Boris tried a few gentle steps, careful not to topple anyone. Villagers joined in, their fears forgotten in the joy of the moment. The golden lantern swayed overhead, casting playful shadows across the dancing crowd. The celebration felt like a promise of friendship. "Dance with us, Boris," said the children. "Okay, carefully," said Boris. "I don't want to step on toes." "This is the best, Boris," said Lila, clapping. As the stars began to appear, the crowd slowly quieted. Boris looked down at Lila with gratitude in his eyes. "You heard my heart when others heard only noise," he said softly. Lila's smile warmed in the starlight, proud of the courage they had shared. The lanterns above glowed gently, and the evening breeze carried the scent of muffins. Around them, the villagers lingered, comfortable in the giant's presence. The night felt peaceful and whole. "Thank you, Lila," said Boris. "You're a true friend." "You're welcome, Boris," said Lila. "I'm glad I listened." "We all are, Lila," said Granny Maple. From that day on, Boris Bumblebeard was welcome in Tinkerhaven. He helped with market work, joined celebrations, and shared gentle rumbles that made children laugh. Lila Bright knew they had proven that appearances could be deceiving. The village felt warmer, its people more willing to look beyond fear. Granny Maple often baked muffins for Boris, who carried them with care through the streets. And sometimes, when the mist rolled in from Grumblegrove, it carried not grumbles, but friendly greetings. "I love helping here, villagers," said Boris. "It's fun." "We're glad you're our friend, Boris," said Lila. "Kindness made it happen." "Yes, Lila, and empathy too," said Granny Maple. "You taught us all."